To sell or not to sell, that is the question. This is something that we get asked a lot in the market. And I'm here with John Pye, my dad, to chat through some of the options for investors and home owner occupiers. Dad, what advice would you give someone who is actually thinking about selling?
It's important to consider the two aspects to the question. So there's a real estate aspect, there's a financial aspect. We can certainly give you advice on the real estate aspect. We can't give financial advice as real estate agents, nor can any real estate agent without a financial license give financial advice. So first of all, my view is you first talk to your financial advisor, and secondly, then talk to your real estate agent.
So is that in terms of an investor?
This would be in terms of investor or even a home occupier who is considering a sale and then renting.
So for someone who's thinking about moving interstate or even to another suburb or overseas?
Correct.
So go first to your financial advisor and accountant.
If someone is considering moving away from their local area, it becomes a financial decision whether to keep that property or not. So if you're moving overseas, moving interstate, ask the financial questions, and also it depends on whether you want to buy interstate or overseas. Sydney traditionally has had the best market in Australia over a long period of time, and it's likely your own home will increase in value more than in the area where you're going. Although I've heard some incredible stories from Dubai and also United States. Overall, if you want to ever come back to your property in Sydney and live there again, it's best to keep the property and rent it out.
Okay, so then moving towards the real estate agent's opinion, what are the considerations that a homeowner needs to take on board?
Okay, so one other aspect of financial advice you need to understand the impact of capital gains tax, particularly. Even if you're moving overseas, there's a different formula for calculating capital gains tax. There's a different formula for calculating income tax. It's quite a complex financial decision to make, and you must get financial advice on that. But in terms of real estate advice, yes, now is a very good time to sell. This year, we've recorded, and also realestate.com has advised that listings are down dramatically, something 28% as I recall, and always a good time to sell when listings are down and when there's sufficient buyers around. So there are excellent buyers around at the moment. The worst time to sell, of course, is when there are so many listings on the market and nobody's buying. That's when prices drop. That's when it becomes a much longer process to sell a property. But right now, the process is fairly short and it's a great time to list a property for sale.
And CoreLogic also recorded in the last few months an increase in the marketplace. For something like 12 to 13 months, the market has gone up.
The market has gone up.
Okay. So therefore, looking at the options for an owner, perhaps they're looking at their financial situation and perhaps they're experiencing some financial hardship. You do have a few options out there that you can consider.
The decision cannot be entered into lightly. It's a very, very carefully thought out decision. But of course, if you are going overseas and you want to come back to your property and make it your home again, it's sensible to rent it out. It makes sense, unless there's some real financial difficulty in maintaining that ownership. If you're just want to move to another area and make a permanent move, well then it makes sense to sell and buy if you're moving permanently.
So ultimately, get your financial advisor to look at your holistic situation.
Correct.
That's the number one step. And then come and talk to us. We'll be able to walk through what's actually happening in the current market and what a buyer's saying. And look, if you have any other questions, you can put it in the comments below and we'd be delighted to help you. Is there anything else that we should just mention before we finish?
I just want to say that today there are excellent tenants around and very well qualified tenants who look after the property they rent, and we have a minimum of problems with our rent roll.
So if you've got any questions, put it in the comments below. Thank you.
Thank you.